My fellow people who are high on believing in things, people with feelings.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
My ooga chakas.
Yeah.
How are you doing, my ooga chakas? Today, on Cinematic Fantastic Podcast, we are driving off to the theater to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was about to say the French word for 3, but I don't remember it right off.
Trois? Is it trois?
It's trois.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Or tres. Tres volumes. Spanish is terrible. Volumes. Anyway, now this is the third movie of the trilogy. We had the last time we saw the Guardians, they were hanging out with Thor. The most dangerous woman in the universe, Gamora, was not there. I think Star-Lord was a little bummed out. They have parted ways with Thor, if what I'm thinking is correct, and that's where we're going to meet them at the beginning of this movie. William, how is this movie?
You mean in Thor 4?
Thor: Love and Thunder,
which I haven't seen.
Yeah,
don't plan to.
So yeah, right. So okay, here's my question to you: do you know how this movie is doing at the box office? What is the? I mean, as far as how people are liking this movie.
No. People definitely do be liking this movie, but I have not spoiled myself at all.
It's certified fresh. It's up in the high 80s. I mean, nothing is ever going to be like a straight up 99 or 100 that's not like one of those art films, you know, where it's like a biopic of some fruit picker in another country that dealt with a lot of sadness or something. I don't know. The Fruit Picker and the Sadness probably made 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but this one got 85. That's quite respectable. Plus, the audience had a high score. That's interesting to look at because Mario had a high audience score and a low review score.
And this one, the reviewers also like it too because they're old white men who like.
They're all old white men, according to
like Marvel.
According to Brie Larson, they're all old white men that review these things, which is not true. I looked, and a lot of them are there's different ages: young, old,
just saying
female,
likely.
male.
And that's why we're reviewing it is because you can't. You trust monolithic companies all the time. I mean, sometimes they got to have some bias or something, or like they're just, it's this faceless entity. We're not faceless. We have faces. We promise. We're not slender people.
Speaking of faceless entities.
We're not the people from, what was it, Who or something? I don't know, like with the mask faces.
Oh, with the Court of Owls? No, what are we talking about? No.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. Was it Anonymous with the masks from the V from Vendetta masks? Is that what you're talking about?
I remember it was another movie that like
they all were there.
Critics liked and audiences hated, or the other way around.
Hey, that's a lot of movies today. I was going to ask you a question. Do you know who the guy who's directing this movie is? James Gunn. He directed the other two movies in this series.
Apparently, he got fired and then rehired.
Yeah, he got fired way back
for his Twitter act.
He had some tweets where I'll just tell you he had a Halloween costume where he dressed up as a Catholic priest, and some of his other friends that were girls dressed up as little young grade school girls, and that's kind of off really bad. And he said some things. Now, again, a lot of people have said things that were bad, but they were just really trying to be careful with him. Everybody that was in Guardians of the Galaxy, from Chris Pratt to Dave Bautista, everybody just said James Gunn was just the greatest guy. This was many years ago. I mean, please, Disney, reconsider. And I guess they did because obviously he came back. But he did eventually leave. He's leaving Marvel stuff, I think, for right now. He made the Suicide Squad, which is Suicide Squad 2, and he did the Peacemaker TV series on HBO Max. Now, here's the thing, though. He directed this movie, right? And he's also doing a lot of the DC stuff. He's like the head of DC movies going forward, and there's a lot of plans to do things. Some of the things,
which is interesting because he's working for both competitors.
This is his last Marvel movie, though. I read a quote, and I didn't look into it because I've been trying to avoid spoilers. It is hard because I have people at work that have seen it. And the quote is that James Gunn single-handedly saved Marvel movies and saved DC movies. See, we don't know yet about the DC thing because, I mean, the Flash that comes out in June, I think, is getting really good reviews behind the scenes.
And Batgirl.
Batgirl
Doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist. We won't talk about it. It got burned in a fire, thrown into the crack of Mount Doom.
What the way of the George Melius.
Yes. All right, so
but I wanted to.
yeah.
So far, you said Thor 4
Love and Thunder?
they were hanging Love and Thunder. They were hanging out with Thor.
Yeah.
You said someone with Gamora, but Gamora's dead, right?
No. Gamora's still alive. It's an alternate Gamora. The Gamora of the Marvel Universe as is timeline was, of course, spoiler alert for people who haven't seen Infinity War, but she was thrown. I think it was called Vormir. She was thrown down by Thanos. One of the saddest scenes. It's heartbreaking. She was thrown down. And as a sacrifice,
Black Widow also had that sacrifice.
She did the sacrifice too. But there was an alternate Thanos, an alternate Gamora, an alternate Nebula that crossed over. Nebula,
and those
of course,
are the ones we have right now.
Yeah, right now.
But again, this is the last time we're probably going to see Gamora.
This is alternate Gamora that is in this. And remember, she in Endgame she kicked Star-Lord
in the face.
But this Gamora doesn't know anything about the history of Star-Lord and her and how they fell in love and the thing that unspoken thing. Remember that's in the second volume? She said that unspoken thing, We got that unspoken thing, you and I. And it's just a nifty little romance. But guess what? This Gamora doesn't know anything about that. So,
But I was going to say we had that as a basis point to jump off of, but there's also the basis point of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which, of course, we have our sister Leia here. Can you give us a brief, and even briefer recap of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, if you'd like to?
No. I'm just kidding. I did it earlier.
That's the one with Ego.
Yep.
And
You want me to give something brief?
That's very difficult to give. It's very difficult to give something brief on that, but wait, that movie though led into
the holiday special, which is the next thing I was going to ask.
Did you see the holiday special?
Yes, we all saw the holiday.
Yeah, holiday special was great. Did you see that?
Yep, that was fun. That was cute.
So that is the last
you can
time.
Summarize that. That was pretty short.
That is the last time that we've seen the Guardians. We found out an interesting bit of trivia. Spoilers to those who haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special
and Infinity War and Endgame.
And Infinity War and Endgame.
It's already due.
They've already seen that. They've already seen that. But this is on Disney Plus right now. But there's a revelation about Star-Lord and Mantis. What is it?
Oh, they're related.
Well, they're half siblings.
Half siblings.
I would say they're half siblings.
Yeah, but I mean that's probably not shocking considering Ego is basically Zeus, who is everyone's father somehow. Well,
he's actually not as bad as Zeus because you could probably actually destroy Ego. But Zeus will just keep living.
Have you seen Thor 4? Because they're talking about Zeus and Zeus.
No, she hasn't. But she's referring to the fact that Zeus has pretty much, let's be nice about it, has been with everybody and everything, and made all these demigods, and so that's kind of where he was going with that.
I mean, at least Athena, I think, was just made out of his head. So
she sprung from his forehead. Okay, so we're getting to mythology. That's how.
Not bad.
That's how.
Considering Zeus as usual.
That's how epic that this movie is that we're
so with
we're
that
pulling on
that's
mythology.
Sort of what we're going to be continuing off of. Another thing is if you are like under 6 or 5 or something, touch this movie with a 10-foot pole, because this movie is going to probably be more related with Venom, from Sony, the Sony Marvel stuff.
Oh, you're saying
more related to Venom than all the other Marvel movies.
There's going to be some.
I'll just say that
there's going to be some violence in this that some young kids can't handle.
If you're taking your 5-year-olds to a PG-13 movie on the regular, why? But also don't do it for this one because this one earns its rating, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, okay, the big villain of this movie appears to be the High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji. Pardon me if I'm messing.
Where did we see him last?
We have not seen this actor. He actually was in he was in Peacemaker. I've seen a couple episodes of Peacemaker.
No, I mean the High Evolutionary.
Oh, we've probably seen him on X-Men, the old X-Men animated series, maybe. I don't know.
I haven't gone far into that.
He's in the comic book. But so he is the creator of the Men or the Animal Men, and I think we might see them in this movie. But again, we're jumping ahead.
That's actually interesting.
There's an
X-Men crossover.
It's not an X-Men crossover. High Evolutionary has connections to the X-Men.
It's a pool. It's a marriage of the pool of ideas.
That's true. Everything comes from some. Supposedly, he has connection to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch somehow, but they're not going to do that in this movie. His connection mainly is going to be to Rocket, I believe, and some other Rocket's family members of his own, or from way back. I will tell you that we will see somebody who was hinted at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I hope they do him right. It's Adam Warlock. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you see the Sovereign, the queen lady with the golden skin. She's saying she has this big cocoon machine thing. She says he's perfect, and she says I shall call him Adam. And we went, it's Adam Warlock, and Adam Warlock is in this. He's played by Will Poulter. I don't know if Leia's going to remember Will Poulter. I would Caspian. No, Don Treader. He was in the Don Treader movie. He played Eustace Scrub. This is him when he's not a scrub, if that makes sense.
When he's older.
When they say somebody, they say, I don't want no scrubs. He's not a scrub. Okay, everybody's marveling, so to speak, at how Will Poulter has worked out. He is like Thor big. And he used to be like a little young guy, kind of just okay. He's a good actor.
And he turned his life around.
But he turned his health around. I don't know. I've heard rumors that these guys that do the superhero workouts, it's not safe because they dehydrate themselves right before they are about to do a scene the day before, so that their skin, their veins will show that their muscle. Okay, that's really gross. Anyway, all right, Leia, you want to have something?
He used to be as skinny as John Cabal, and now he's as skinny as the Incredible Bulk.
Yeah,
I guess.
Here you go, Leia. Did you have something to say on that?
I was gonna say that's actually very inspiring to someone who is short and small, and also never drinks water. Perfect. I'm already halfway there.
You're my superhero. All right, so
I'm almost there.
So we are ready to go in. We're about 10 minutes from start of the movie. Let's go get our seats, and then when we come back, we will tell you guys what we thought.
And I'll be more buff.
And we'll be more buff. But last thing, this movie is said to rip the tears out of your own eyeballs and without your own consent. So
no consent on the crying.
To that, and also epic proportions. I'd like to be able to see if this is actually an epic movie that saves Marvel so far, because they're getting a rocky start to Phase 5.
Yeah,
Quantumania was disappointing.
We did a review of Quantumania, and we gave it a good review, but I think not everybody shared our sentiment.
It could have been so much
better. And also
it's just the ending
and I'm a little nervous about the Kang actor right now. I'm watching the news to see how this all works out. I'm going to talk to William and Leia off the podcast about that, because we don't want to really get too into something that could be in the weeds on allegations that people make. I don't want to get let's keep it happy and upbeat.
This isn't a political podcast.
No,
this
it's not.
A podcast where we review.
Oh, it's not political.
Science fiction, fantasy, classic horror, old horror, 1940s and 50s stuff. Not any political stuff, as far as we can tell. We might dip into controversies, but that's part of history.
We'll see you soon.
This movie, okay,
it's a lot of emotion.
I don't know where to start.
I don't either.
Okay, first of all, watch it. James Gunn is a good director. Great director.
Yes, he is.
Fantasticometer will bring you back to say 10 out of 10 bananas.
I will tell you, this movie
top banana.
Is a lot of emotion in this movie. I don't think that if you haven't seen the other two, or the other points where the Guardians are, the ones where the Guardians are portrayed.
Multiverse of Madness can kiss the pedestal that it is sitting on.
I'm just saying the emotion that's in this. Some people may think it's a lot to take in. Yeah, it is. I think that's the point. This current team, is going their separate ways, but a new team has formed, and we may see them again. In what form, I'm not sure, but the action was great, the humor was great. It was probably the darkest Guardians of the Galaxy that I've seen, other than maybe some of what Ego had
At
planned.
most, it pulled on my heartstrings.
Oh yeah.
But I knew that they were definitely not going to kill off any of the major characters. It definitely made me reconsider. Like, are they actually gonna? Are they actually?
They teased it. They teased a couple times. Hopefully, you guys have seen this movie, but
yeah, this is a fitting end for this trilogy.
They teased death. They teased death.
To which obviously they would go their separate ways after which.
Yeah, and I will tell you this right now. Here's the thing: the first movie had more of a larger stakes. And what I'm saying is more like universal stakes. Like, if Ronan the Accuser gets that stone, Thanos can do horrible things to the guy. But here's the thing, though: the second one, a little bit more personal. A little bit more personal in stakes. And then the third one, way personal, super personal.
If they took Kang and made him a personal and more extreme, or not extreme. He is extreme. Personality.
No, you're right. He is very extreme. There's some similar powers between the High Evolutionary and Kang, somewhat, but
also
completely different. Want and need.
It really progresses the arc of Rocket Raccoon.
And Leia he is the central. I will tell you this right now. This is Rocket's movie. There is a lengthy flashbacks that pepper throughout. They are heartbreaking. They really flesh out what you only got hinted at in the first movie, where Rocket says, I've been taken apart and put together so many times that I don't even know what I am. There's only one of me.
Until finding his identity, which led. What else could you profess to this mastery of arc making?
Yeah,
man, I don't know if it's just because I guess I'm drawn to this trope, whatever this is, that ends up being kind of just exactly the story. Maybe I'm drawn to this trope, but goodness, that just cemented Rocket as a favorite for sure. Also, their villain. Goodness, I hated him, but I loved him. I love to hate him. I was over here like, do I like this guy more than Kang at this moment?
Yeah, me too. I was like, this is Kang, but like to a.
Now, what do you mean by like
level?
him? I mean, like.
Kang was just this calm, like conqueror. He was more teased for later, but why? What makes him better than Kang in this instance?
I think he's more. My opinion on that, if you want it real quick, is he's more of a personal villain. Yes, he's done some horrible things throughout the universe, but
the thing is, he's doing it all now. That's the big argument.
I think that's one of the reasons that it makes it really, really just personal, and such a well hated villain, well liked to be hated villain.
Yes, you love to hate him. He's and I will tell you that when they
compared to Kang, who was he's set up for Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which is all this big stuff at the end of Phase 5 that they're setting up and stuff. And Quantum Mania wasn't really focused on his grand schemes. It was as microscopic of a scheme as they were.
Right.
Really. But in this movie, he's actually doing stuff, and he's doing stuff right now. And that's what makes it have that pizzazz.
Yeah. I think one of the big things why we're kind of making these comparisons, not to diss on Kang or the villain that he's going to become, because I remember watching Loki and I was like, oh my word, this guy is terrifying and I love him. And I still feel those feelings. But I think the problem was that it didn't feel quite as personal in Quantum Mania, just because I felt like he didn't pose. It just didn't feel like he posed as big a threat to Ant-Man and everyone as I would have wished. I don't know what didn't hit, but yeah, something didn't quite hit, and that is fine. I'm still really looking forward because I mean, I didn't think much of Thanos in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Me neither.
It was just he was a guy. He was a guy that looked weird, and then later I'm like, oh my word, this is an incredible villain. I think that the thing with this movie is they just did a quicker job at making you instantly hate him. It also helps that his thing was like,
and he sort of
animal
deserves it too for animal abuse. Yeah,
abuse.
He is petulant. He is a tyrant. He has a god complex, literally.
And he's taking all these
whiny
raccoons.
He's whiny. You know, he's got all those things that make you really kind of go, this guy needs to get, you know, hoisted up.
Get some help.
Stop. Get some help. And he does. You just have to see that. You just have to see what happens to the High Evolutionary. But yes, he is a scumbag. But he's a scumbag that is obsessed with Rocket. He doesn't even call him by that name. He just calls him by a number, like an experiment, which, you know, he kind of is.
Which really helps to, again, his arc of identity that he goes through in this movie.
Right. There is a great deal of identity in this. You know, who are we? We're a family.
Choosing our own names.
Yes. It's the family you choose, not necessarily the family
taking our own names.
Yeah, exactly. Not necessarily the family you're born with, but the family you choose. But at the same time, you know, you still do have a family. The thing, you know, who I know you say, why is Gamora? Who is Gamora in this? She has to find out. You know, yes, I am who I am, but you know,
the role she's supposed to fulfill. Does
Star-Lord see something in me that I don't? I don't know if I see this as a love thing, but there's an unspoken thing there, and I don't think it's. I think that they both had to come to terms that she is a different feel she is a different person.
Yeah, I kind of like how they had it because there was that unspoken thing, that romantic tension there. But it felt a lot more laid back, and I feel like everyone I feel like the movie is trying to hint at that it will develop into something more. But I feel like it's at a point where both of them understand that they are not who they thought they were. Gamora kind of has a moment of going, okay, this guy isn't an idiot. This is a real person who's gone through things, and he loves his friends. Now, who am I? What does this mean to me? This family that I have been kind of found by. So,
what about the other family that she seems to be finding in the Ravagers? You know, Sylvester Stallone's character, Starhawk, from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is in here.
Dude who looks like from the movie Spy Kids 3.
Yes.
Like the game maker.
Yes.
I swore.
Even more famously, William, this is Rocky Balboa and Rambo, okay? You're forgetting his two most famous part is Rocky Balboa and Rambo.
But I recognize the role because he looked more like he was an older, but Sylvester Stallone and Rocky was way younger.
This is what Zoomers and Gen Z remember
I'm
is.
Not a Gen Z.
No, wait.
I'm not because he looked.
I'm not mad at you.
Okay. I associated him with a late Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I know. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. I'm
again, we're going to be covering those.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, we're going to be covering the Rocky series, at least 4 of them. So here's the thing. What I was talking about, William, is I'm not coming against you. What I'm saying is like your. I find it interesting that the things that you relate to are like the stuff they did later in life, and I remember the stuff they did when they were like really young, and it makes me think about how generations are different and how they look at
like if there was a dude who associated with a 97-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger, while you were like, I know when he was 12.
I saw him when he was this young and hungry, you know, weightlifter kind of guy, bodybuilder kind of type, where he didn't say much at all. You know, I won't go into detail on this, but there's a movie called Hercules in New York, and Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Hercules, and what they did is they didn't like his accent, so they dubbed.
I think you mean Hercules. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
they dubbed over him with this other guy, and he's like, "I am Hercules." Hello, it's like, oh my goodness, it's a terrible movie. It's bad. But they got Arnold because he looks the part. He looks great. He's real muscular and all that.
But
that's why they got.
Epic
Go ahead,
in this movie, there are lots of spaceship battles.
Oh boy,
all
are
sorts
there?
Of situations dealing with space. Obviously, in this movie, it's not really super obvious, but yeah, there will be at least in the ulterior portion. Is this big?
It's satisfying. It's to me, it's very
which is like a meat place.
Oh, that's very satisfying. And this is there's a chance that they are exploring weirdness and things that are different. I really
like the Carrot Man.
The Carrot Man. I really did dig Nowhere and what they're doing with that. It really
It flew off like a spaceship.
Yes, since the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, holiday special, it really has turned into an adventure town. It's really is. It's a place for the lost of the universe to find their place.
I feel like with the progression in this movie of Mantis's arc, that could easily take place after this movie.
Yes, I don't know what she's going to do, but I have a feeling that
would make a
they're
lot of sense.
The paths are going to cross again at some point. I don't think any of them have said that this is their last Marvel movie ever. I mean, at the end of it, it says Star-Lord will return. That tells me that it's possible that he, as a solo character, may, meet up with the Avengers, which he only met one, right? No, he met three Avengers: Thor and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Right? Did he meet any other ones? I don't think so. But it'd be great if he actually meets some of those others. By the way, I have this is not really part of this podcast, but I wanted to give us a quick tangent because we are the Tangentlemen. Doctor Strange's spell to erase anybody's knowledge of who Peter Parker and Spider-Man are, right?
Right.
That's everyone on Earth, isn't it?
Not him.
Thor was off planet. So were the Guardians were off planet. When Spider-Man No Way Home. No, they haven't yet. No, they haven't yet. Because Thor didn't go back to New York, to hang out in New York. He was busy with another situation. But he didn't go back to New York to go, hey, let me hang out with Spider-Man for a minute. He had a big situation to take care of.
But speaking of New York, there was at least 3-minute take action scene where they were just flying through this hallway and beating up the bad guys, and it was playing over No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Oh,
honestly,
it was awesome.
Way better usage of that song than they did in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Really? Well, that hallway action sequence was freaking great, and the way the camera was soaring around, it's on par with a lot of Avengers fights. Okay.
But yeah. After all, we are starting to get into a bit of spoilers, so we will get into some spoiler talk now. So how'd you like that section break? Man, was that good music.
Yes, and we're back.
So basically, yeah, the getting into spoilers, the plot basically is, over the course of the movie, they're having flashbacks, of course, to Rocket Raccoon's backstory, which is, of course, he met him and this walrus in a wheelchair.
Teefs.
His name is Teefs. And Floor, who is this bunny who has spider legs.
A bionic spider bunny,
and an otter by the name of
Lila.
Lila.
Yes,
all
these are from the comic books. But I remember specifically Lila more than any of them. It was always talked about, and of course you see Lila in the.
Of course, being his girlfriend.
You see Lila in the trailer. So I was like, oh, they're gonna bring her.
The whole point of the story, they're la-di-daing around their date, and then Adam Man from Volume 2, who was sort of
Adam Warlock.
Harnessed by the Gold People. From the previous
Sovereigns, or whatever. I don't know what they're called. Whatever. Perfect gold people.
Perfect gold people. They're the perfect people who also do seem to have some association with the high.
It turns
evolutionary.
Well, we didn't know that before, but it turns out the high evolutionary, I believe, had some kind of
course he has
creation of them. He helped create them, it's an experiment in perfection.
Of course, he did also create the Animen and was also featured in X-Men comic books. Hinting at a connection.
There's connections. They're all over the place, but I mean, they have to kind of ignore some of those connections to kind of really make it personal and focus around Rocket and other things we've seen already.
But yeah, Adam Man comes in, he busts up the place.
Adam Warlock, you keep calling Adam Man. No, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead. You know what? That's fine. It's gonna stick. It's gonna stick.
It's gonna stick.
It's gonna stick. Keep saying it. Yeah,
Adam dude punches Rocket. Rocket can't be healed because there's a passcode on him that won't allow him to be.
It's on his heart. Yeah.
That's on his heart. And so the whole movie, they're really trying to save him by getting a passcode. In order to get the passcode,
that's the MacGuffin. That's the MacGuffin.
Yeah, which is this big giant place that's grown from it's an organism grown Deep Space Nine they have on their hands.
It's a big fleshy, bony, deep, grody booger. It's a booger. It's a booger land.
Sour Patch Kids astronaut costumes.
Yes.
And actually, now I think about it, man, is there lots that happens in this movie. They infiltrate that. It doesn't go that well because, funnily enough, the spacesuits get ejected, so they have to make do what they do.
Yeah.
Peter Quill.
Chris Pratt.
Peter Quill uses his manly charm to seduce his secretary, but Gamora uses violence.
As per usual.
Violence?
They
very
obtain
seductive.
Violence, but seductive. So they... I believe they get this little cell which has the code on it, but of course the alarm is blaring. They have to get their hightail
It's like a record ball, little.
It's a cell.
It's a D12.
It's a D12.
It's a 12-sided die.
It's a hecadedron. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Dodecahedron. I think.
Dodecahedron.
I think. But anyway, don't. Yeah.
But yeah, they get that. They go back in their spaceship, and then. I don't think that worked. So their plan was to get it from the dude who's helping the High Executioner, evolutionary.
Was it one of the scientist helper guys?
Well, the scientist helper dudes has it in his brain. They go for that.
It's like a cybernetic piece on the side of his head, like Lobot from Empire Strikes Back or something.
Is there anything I'm missing before they go onto the evolved planet? Or
they track him down. They're tracking him down, and I think Gamora actually does send a signal out because she's like, I'm fed up with these guys. She still wants to send a signal to get picked up by the Ravagers, but somebody else picks up, and it's the Sovereign. But this other Earth is called Counter Earth. It's like a big giant experimental planet that the High Evolutionary does his deal.
And if you've seen A Wrinkle in Time, the movie especially, as well as the books, you can profess to that was the power of it to create a world where everything is there was a word for it, but everything is equal. There's
perfect
order, right? Order.
Well, he
so everyone was
thought he's trying
at the same time.
Yeah.
This was sort of that, except everyone was animal people because he was trying to populate the world.
I didn't see any perfection in them.
Of course, Drax has to mess that situation up, so they get into a little bit of a pickle, but that's solved out. They are sort of questioning the Bat people about that. But yeah, we did discover that Rocket Raccoon
found Batgirl. Yeah.
Rocket Raccoon witnessed with the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary showed him the this turtle, and he put him in a machine that makes him evolve.
Into I was joking. It was Michelangelo. Yeah.
No, I said it was Donatello.
It's a horrific Michelangelo.
Rocket Raccoon seems to have intelligence in his brain to be able to tell why the whatever fluid isn't working is because there's not any filtration.
He's unique. Rocket is unique.
And so he was like, wait a minute, how do you solve this? And then it turns out he did solve that.
He did kind of help the High Evolutionary make the Animan.
Again, he just has to be a jerk and kill all of them. So he does make a keycard to escape. However, he defeats all three of the other foes, or all of his friends. They're dead. Lila,
I'm so sorry.
Thor,
yeah, it's sad. It's very sad.
The
reason why the High Evolutionary toward the beginning of the thing, he looks like he has his head stretched over the cybernetic part of him. One of the characters later on calls him a RoboCop looking, and I'll have to show William a picture of that, what that looks like. RoboCop without his helmet.
Or the Skynet robots.
Oh, the Terminators. He does kind of look like that underneath. But anyway, but see what?
I was like, what questioning is like Red Skull? They bring
no. It's actually William. Everybody, when you remove their face, has a red skull. I don't know if you knew that. If you all the kid is really scary underneath the skin. Try to sleep well tonight, folks. All right, so no. Back to this. So he attacked the High Evolutionary and tore his face all to bits, and that's why he kind of looks different.
But that's at the end. The Rocket.
Well, he tears it again. They tear it off again.
Died, yeah. He escapes by himself, and that's his backstory. Yeah, man, there was so much that happened in this movie. I can't make.
Well, they are going to destroy.
They're going to destroy the planet.
The planet. He's going to start over again. He's
start over again.
Screw this.
Because
we're done.
it's not perfect enough. So he's just exploding the planet. There's lots of action going on. Peter Quill is on one. Peter Quill and Gamora are on one spaceship, while Mantis and Drax and Nebula are on another spaceship.
Well, they're on the High Evolutionary ship.
He has like these new race of like children. Again, Spy Kids 1. He was like engineered robot children.
Right.
But yeah, that's funny. Anyway, so he's got these new children. He demonstrates how like this one child like runs over and over and over again in a circle. A scene similar to 2001.
Right.
Reference.
It's a little bit of a
where the child like literally like ran for 2 hours straight, giggling as if it was fun. And so therefore you're gonna replace it with all them. But Drax and Nebula, with Drax's powers of being a dad, which I don't think was established before. I don't know if
he was. It's
been so long.
His ability to relate to children, no. But the fact that he is a dad.
He does make
he had a wife
noises.
Yeah. He had a wife and child that Ronan and Thanos killed. Chimeria. I can't remember what the name of his kids were. Chimeria and something else. There was a rumor that his daughter was gonna find him again, or she really was real. Either Moon Dragon. But that never came.
But yeah, he made quote monkey noises, and he's actually doing the robot, and so the children enjoyed it instead of Nebula just screaming at the little children. Basically, we're told to get off the starboard side because nowhere is gonna shoot at that side of the building.
Kraglin, Kraglin was kind of a.
He also has an arc too.
He really does
mastering, the inheriting, Drax's ability.
Yondu.
Yondu's ability.
with the fin and the arrow.
I don't call him Drax for some reason. Anyway,
sorry.
I don't know. He's Jack. His name is Jack officially. I don't know. Jack and Daxter.
Right. So he
comes into his own in this movie as well. So many arcs.
And they pilot nowhere.
Mantis does make friends with three
abelisks.
No, they're not abelisks. Dad's a D&D
no, they're called abelisks.
They look like
abelisks. They're called abelisks or something like that.
Anyway. But yeah, she does use her smarts like in a funny scene where there's like a guard. There's like a receptionist dude, and so he makes like him fall in love with Drax.
Yeah, that does happen. That's
hilarious.
happened to the Orgo scene. That is great, and he's very embarrassed by that. But Mantis is loving that. They're just they're all just family and goofy together.
So they really do. They escape the planet. They have a bunch of like final conflicts and stuff. They save all the children, but Rocket stays there. He finds all the baby raccoons, and he comes into his own, learning that it's a raccoon from the
little label on the page.
Label.
Yeah.
On it. So like Harry Potter, where it says not from here in Brazil or something.
Yeah, the snakes. It's
the snake. From Sorcerer's Stone. Anyway, but the High Evolutionary meets him there, throws him around, and tries to dename him before he goes, "No, my name is Rocket Raccoon." And then he beats him up. And then the scene with No Sleep Till Brooklyn, that scene happens. There's all sorts of other final conflicts. Oh, they're like
I think that comes before that. But that they do all the Guardians team up to just
they beat up all of the like hog cyborg people.
Yes. They also what they do is they take the High Evolutionary down, but But Rocket, he would ordinarily kill him, but he says that he's a guardian of the galaxy. He's not gonna, he's not gonna kill this guy,
even though he stripped his face off.
even though he's like the worst. But he's really, the High Evolutionary is way, just dropped down. Well, doesn't the ship actually blow up or something? So
The ship does blow up.
Yeah, it's kind of like Batman's in Batman Begins saying,
Peter Quill
"I don't have
does,
to save you, or I have to kill you, but I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you." Yeah.
I think Peter Quill does go back for his Walkman at least. There's this final chase scene until
it's his Zune. It's his Zune.
Onto nowhere, back to nowhere from space, but it seems that all is nearly lost and his face balloons up bigger than
goodness.
It ever has in the Mario movie. I joke that he looks like Mario now.
It's
live
rough.
action Mario Bros.
Well, he is half celestial, so that's the only thing that allowed him to live that long.
Again, he's frozen, and the roots get frozen when they go too far.
But we do get a last minute save by Adam Warlock. Okay, all the things that you care about in life: children, animals.
Baby animals, engineering against your will.
Yes.
And after all, it said it was worse than Nebula because he was bioengineering against his will and tearing out the brains and stuff.
Yeah, he's horrible. So I would tell you if you really have a thing for seeing animals, I'm sorry, not have a thing. If you have a thing with seeing animals in any kind of peril, even CGI animals.
Also, at the end, Groot finally speaks English and says, "I love you guys." And Dad was just like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't.
Why did they need to throw that in?
He's been. Is it because they now all of a sudden all know what he's saying, and now we do too? What? I don't know. It did take me out of it for a second, but I was like, okay, fine.
And again, at the end, Peter Quill, being at Earth, finally sends him in the Walkman that Rocket Raccoon has inherited as being the new leader of the new Guardians of the Galaxy after they split ways.
Yeah, who is in the new Guardians? Kraglin?
One of the child.
The little girl, her name is Phyla Vell. She has some abilities.
Of course, Yondu dude.
Like I said, yeah. I
don't remember his name. Kraglin.
Yeah, and Adam Warlock and Cosmo.
And Cosmo the dog.
Yep.
Unfortunately, couldn't get the duck character. I don't remember his name.
Howard the duck.
Howard. I haven't rewatched Volume 2, and it's been a while since I've watched Volume 1 as well.
It might be good to kind of just watch those just for fun.
Rewatch all 20 of the movies.
No, I don't know if I'm ready for that right now. But what I'm saying is, some of the feelings and the action that we expected from when we wanted to see a little bit more in the fourth, we've seen now here in the fifth. So, hey, I hope it continues. The next movie to come out is going to be the Marvels, and that looks kind of fun.
But to finish my statement, he brings 2000s music over. So they finally play 2000s music. It's sort of breaking the barrier of he didn't have that before, and now he does. So it's these new sounds to these people. But yeah, next movie is the Marvels. People who like Miss Marvel will be cheering. People who like Captain Marvel are weirdos.
Oh, come on. Okay, so we have somebody who's a Captain Marvel hater. Okay, so but the next things we have to look forward to as far as Disney Plus TV shows are concerned is Secret Invasion. I'm super looking forward to that. I like the spy espionage kind of feel to it with a little bit of space kind of bleeding over into that. At least on Earth, you can't trust anybody. They're shapeshifters. That whole thing really appeals. I like that.
And this movie really
and Loki season 2 in October.
Was a solid movie, solid end to Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
Yes,
and also, Quantum Mania wasn't a really great start to Phase 5, but this is sure turning it sort of around. But James Gunn leaving Marvel permanently is probably going to throw a wrench in any progress they could be making.
I heard somebody, a friend of mine, said
Phase 4 was not that great.
Yeah, there were some bright spots, but there were some dull spots too. So
there were some dull green secretary costumes.
You're taking She-Hulk. Okay, that's.
But what are your final thoughts, Leia, on this movie?
One thing that I thought throughout, I believe the middle towards the end of the movie, I was just thinking, you know what? This is why I love the Guardians. And I think this is an excellent movie. that just really ties everything together. It hits home, and it reminds you, I guess it sort of felt in a way like Spider-Man No Way Home, that you see these three Spider-Men interacting together, you see all these villains, and though it is like kind of a nostalgia bait or whatever you want to call it, that really was kind of a ode to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I feel
Spider-Man,
like
Spider-Men sound similar.
And well,
I feel like if they
also said "I love you, guys." You know, a lot of love.
A lot of love here, but I feel
family
like
vibes.
if they somehow learn from this, other directors go, actually, we're having a hit on our hands. Let's actually make good movies this time, and breaking those rightfully earned dollars instead of just being like, oh, it's Marvel, it's gonna make money regardless. Wahaha, corporate entity, Disney, Mickey Mouse laughing in his little corner.
In his magic kingdom.
His
dark magic kingdom. Now,
the penthouse of Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, wow.
But I really hope that they sort of see this as a sign to sort of keep this upward trajectory going, and this optimism that we have from this movie going further into this new era. And see, they can't really redo Infinity War and Endgame, because it was the end game, so they can't really redo that, but they can sure make quality movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, and the thing I would say about this too is that you don't get an Infinity War or an Endgame unless you have something to build upon, and you build by creating characters that we care about, stories that don't wag a finger at us and treat the fans like they're trash. You do. I mean, take a lesson from No Way Home and give the fans what they want while still building upon the things that have come before. And you're going to have to build a little bit before you get to something as good as a Infinity War or Endgame. You can't just cut straight to it.
20 movies to get there.
Yeah, so you need to build up over the phases before you get to something like that. I really like where they're going with this. I can't look forward to the future. The only thing I can look forward to is the now, and I really
it's only
enjoyed
ever
it.
Going to get either higher or lower.
I did realize that there's some feels here for me, but I would tell you some of the sharper feels I got from Guardians Volume 2, and the reason why is, for me personally, is relationships between fathers and sons. I relate to it on a level, different than most do, and I think that it has a special place in my heart. With Yondu saying, I wasn't your father, but I was your daddy. And it's kind of like, that's something special, because it's great when you have a father who's a daddy, but sometimes, there's some fathers who did their kids wrong, and the dad and they have
and that's high evolutionary.
No, yeah, but they have a daddy, a real figure that really did love them and care about them and spent time, with them. May have not been their biological, father, but did it right. So I guess what I'm saying is there's some emotional beats through all these movies, but I related, I think, a lot more to Volume 2 than any other of the series. But this one, I think I'm going to have to sit with it a little bit more to see how it feels. But I really like these characters. I grew to like them over the series, the movies that they crossed over with. I grew to really like them. If you don't like these characters, you just won't like this movie. I'm sorry. If you didn't like the first one, the second one, you're not going to like this one, because that's what it is. It's a building process.
But yeah, these are the words I want to leave off with. Really, is fantastic movie, great action, arcs fulfilled, optimistic. Leia, what are yours?
One thing that I think that we've been watching and we've been kind of worried about, and we've also been kind of losing sight, just as the people who are creating these films and the people who are watching it, is why do we love these characters? Not the story, not this movie, not this universe. Why do we love these characters? And I think this was really a love letter to this group, to this family. And I think this movie really let the characters go, why do we love each other? And that is a huge thing that I think really draws people to Marvel. Maybe it doesn't always draw people to Marvel, but it's something that really sticks.
And draws them to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, love letter. Love letter is a great sense to end with.
The Avengers are a family. The Guardians are a family. And they love each other. And at the end of the day, that's always what it's going to be about, is that this is a team of people who are coming together because they love each other and they love the world.
I would say the Avengers many times are a team, and they're soldiers in arms, shoulder to shoulder. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, more than any other of the groups, is a family. I think we, of course, will probably see another family come over the horizon in a couple of years. That is the Fantastic Four, who are truly a family. Or
a flop. Depending on which movie you're talking about.
Well, it's going to come out in like 2025, I think. But anyway, to kind of cap this off, we hope you enjoyed hearing what we had to say about the movie. We will probably do this again sometime. We had fun doing it, kind of getting our thoughts out into the ether. But we're glad you were able to join us. William, do you want to say one quick thing?
I already said my sentence.
You already said your sentence. All right. Well, bye, all our cinematic fanatics out there. Have a fantastic life. Have a fantastic night. Have a fantastic time.